Alright guys, welcome back. We have the last leaks, or the announcement you could also say, for the upcoming pack that will be here on, should be Wednesday, June 4th. Today's the second one, so it is actually Wednesday. Unfortunately, I will not be there streaming since I am on vacation, but I will have videos ready. And today I want to talk about this pack here, also some other announcement, and also quickly want to think with you together about the Ryugi and Malice situation, because now we know a lot more. So we get the new selection pack, the Perpetual Maze. The tricky Mimigul archetype is here to cause mayhem. Will it really? We don't know. Also arriving is the Ryugi archetype. This is a new leak. This is very surprising, which binds together the undying power of different draconic monsters. Impressive new cards also arrive for Reactor and Crystron. Mysterious power take dueling to the next level. Featured theme intro Mimigul. Okay, so here we are with the main archetypes. Obviously the Alba system, Dogmatica, something, not an archetype, but a branded support card, question mark. So we have the Mimigul and we have some ultra rare stuff here. We know that the Mimigul Master is an ultra rare, which is a 3-off in your deck. Then the Reactor Exagard, which I also think is a 2-off in the extra deck. I think this is a strong one. This is a very nice one. 2 level 3 monsters. You can detach 1 material from this card, either special summon 1 Reactor monster from your deck, or add 1 Reactor spell trap from your deck to your hand. Obviously very nice. Also the fact that you can choose whatever you want to do. If your opponent normally special summons a monster, you can add up to 2 materials from this card to your hand, including a Reactor card. Then if a normal monster is in your graveyard, you can return 1 card on the field to the hand. So a very good one that searches and is a disruption. Reactor, if you're not aware, we already have this archetype in the game, but new support is coming for this, and I think you will play this at 2 Reactor fans. Correct me if I'm wrong here. Then we have the Ryugi archetype, and I've talked about this. We've talked about the new set that we are basically on, Crossover Breakers, which is the set where Malice as well as Ryugi comes from. But also there is the Ryugi, which I can't even quite. These are the dragons, and there's a green one, there's a red one, and the blue one. And then they have like continuous spells that go together with them, and they have some effects. I don't know. This is a very strange archetype. I have played against this a few times. So they also play Dino, so you combine this with your Dino deck if you wanted to. What you can, for example, do is make a level or rank 10. You can make the Varudras, the new quote-unquote new boss monster, because you will have these level 10 bodies on your field. But other than that, Ryugi is definitely not something that is really strong. And we also have the second support wave already, which also did not make the deck very playable, neither in the TCG nor in the OCG. Obviously, this is still a deck that you can go ahead and play, but this is a very rogue-ish strategy. But we will have to see how many ultra rares this will have. The Sosei Ryugi Mistva is something that you play at 1, I think, but then again, I'm not the biggest familiar guy with the Ryugi archetype. So I think the most interesting thing about this pack, which I would not even say this is a bad pack, because we are cleaning up some, or basically a lot of archetypes that are not that meta impactful, just to have the big meta impact pack next month. Most likely I will talk about this in another video coming later on this week. But we are cleaning up, and we're getting a lot of new cards actually. The Ryugi cards, we have the Mimigul cards, which are a lot of cards, and then we have a lot of new stuff coming here. Maybe we also get something like the Mulch Army Meowls, question mark, but I guess if we would have gotten her, she would be here on display. Let's talk about Crystron last. We have Alba system Dogmatic Calamity, which is a really cool looking one. It's basically a combination of Albion together with the Sanctifier Albion Dragon. It needs Fallen of Albas plus 6 monsters in your graveyard with different names, so not that easy to accomplish. Must first be fusion summoned, can attack all your opponent's monster once each. Okay, for 5, it's actually a lot. Can obviously finish games with it. Cannot declare an attack unless you send 1 card from your extra deck to the graveyard, which is good and bad, I guess. If you want to attack multiple times, you will need to send a lot of extra deck cards, but obviously you can send stuff like your Albion, which can trigger in the end phase, or your now I'm blanking on the name, the other one that can summon a Despia monster or Fallen of Albas. So you have a lot of stuff in your extra deck that actually wants to be sent to the graveyard, which is nice. And then once per turn, if you control this a fusion summon card and have 6 or more fusion monsters in your graveyard, which is not unlikely because you need to send fusion monsters from your extra deck for attack, that mention Fallen of Albers as material. You can send all cards in each player's extra deck to the graveyard. Very nice, obviously, since if you activate this effect, you have already basically cleared out your own extra deck, and then you're cleaning out your opponent's extra deck, which against a lot of decks is just game over, because a lot of decks are reliant on their extra deck. So very nice. You won't really play this card, though. This card has not really picked up in Branded Despair. It's just a bit too specific. It's too hard to make, and we don't have a lot of room in the Branded extra deck. There are already a lot of strong cards in there, so I don't really think that Alba system and Dogmatic Calamity will be an inclusion, but it's nice to have the card nevertheless. And then we have the Crystalline Edescalletus, which is it's not really a boss monster, it's more a flexible search and summon monster, so it's more of a tech card that you want to play twice. I will also have a Crystron guide up, also a Mimigo guide throughout the week, even though I'm not there, but I will talk about what that means for the guides when you see them. So I need one tuner and one non-tuner monster. All monsters your opponent control lose 500 attack defense can be relevant. And then you can only use each of the effects of Edescalletus once per turn. You will use both in the basic combo. This got a Synchro Summon. You can add one Crystron card from your graveyard or banishment to your hand. That is nice. And if this Synchro Summon card is destroyed by Battle or card effect, you can special summon one Crystron monster from your grave or banishment. A really cool card, really strong. You definitely want to do or to use this in the combo. As I already said, I will show you a combo guide for the Crystron deck together with Horus, the Horus engine, or together with the Castiga engine. You can play both of these variants. You can also play it pure if you wanted to. But yeah, I'm very interested in seeing how expensive this will be. You need 2 of these, and then we will have to see how many of the other ones that we are getting will also be ultra rares, because we get 3 new other cards, or maybe 4, I think 3. And there's basically a continuous spell that you will need thrice. And then there are 2 other very strong cards that you need 2 offs from, basically. So we will see how this will play out in the end. And yeah, I think this is quite nice. And now we are really on crossover breakers. So I've talked about this in a video in the past for the World Championship qualifier. They definitely did not want to shake up the meta. They did not want to give us Malice or Ryugi, but we basically have to get them next because we are nearing the point where they are actually overdue, and we have received the first archetype from Crossover Breakers, so I think we will receive them next, but I will talk about this in a bigger detail, or in more detail, you could say, in another video coming online. Keep in mind that the other packs will also expire, and keep in mind that, and this is not something super usual, you can go ahead and decraft some cards here. So let me quickly show you, just that you are aware. I already done it, but if you have any bonfires, you can decraft your bonfires down to 1. Also, you can decraft original sinful spoils down to 1. It's a bit sad that they didn't forbid this card. And then last but not least, Maiden of White is now at 2, which means go ahead and decraft 1 if you have 3, giving you 90 ultra resource points if you have all of them, which is obviously quite nice. But now let me know in the comments what you think of the last announcement. I've seen a lot of people, especially in the Master Duel Reddit, being quite happy with the new selection pack. I think for most people it is probably more of a skip pack. I will most likely go for Crystron, depending on how expensive it is. But if you want to really play the most meta-relevant decks, I would say save your resources for this month. Probably next month will be very irrelevant for you. But out of these, the Crystron deck will be the most powerful. We will also be able to combine this in the future with the new K9 archetype, but this is way in the future. This is at the end of the year, or maybe at the beginning of the next year. But keep in mind that Crystron will stay relevant for a while. So now let me know in the comments what you think. Thanks for being here, and we will see each other in the next one.